Hi everybody, it's Erin, and I'm here with a mixed media project today. I really want to get back into doing my art videos and stuff like that, and maybe do some scrapbooking, but I kind of need to practice or get used to the whole thing again because it's been quite a while with just coloring, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but I do have all of these supplies and I do technically like making things. So I did want to, start kind of slowly. So what I did was I took out my, what is it called? It's a jelly printing journal. It's just a bunch of pages that I jelly printed ahead of time. And these were done with distress spray stains and gel medium, which makes them permanent because when they're mixed together, if you don't have the gel medium in there, then the stains will run, but they won't move now because they were printed with something that is permanent. So it's basically keeping the color and the spray and the texture on there. And then I'm using some tissue paper that I also colored with Magicals. Now Magicals are supposed to be permanent, but I don't know, maybe I put too much or something. There actually is a video of me making these, but maybe I put too much, but it's not permanent. The color kept running, and I've even washed some of them off and washed the color off and it still comes off. So maybe Magicals are permanent for somebody else, but they're not permanent for me. But like I said, I could have just used way too much because it was the first time I ever used them that I made just a ton of stuff. So the way that I do mixed media is I don't really have a plan. I just kind of go with, okay, this looks good, maybe we'll work on this. And you'll see I actually end up flipping this around because I liked it better upside down. But one of the things I like about mixed media is you'll notice there's a lot of cuts in this, but it's because I tend to let things air dry. I have a heat tool and I could do it quickly, but one of the reasons that I like mixed media is that when things air dry, it kind of gives me an idea of, okay, well, what if I try this? And what if I try that? And it's part of the reason that I like this kind of art is it really is just, experimentation for me. And that's really fun in art in general. I do it a lot in my coloring books. I do it a lot in pretty much everything. And you can see here I flipped it around because I just happen to like it, upside down. And since I haven't worked on the back yet, you're not going to notice. But unfortunately, once I do work on the back, you're going to be able to tell. So I won't be able to have that kind of freedom. And here I have several coloring books that were $2 on Amazon that I cut up into pieces and I just wanted to use for this kind of mixed media art journaling kind of a thing. So one of these is old world fashions. I think this is Caesar. So, you're talking about that kind of old world fashion. And then the other one is some sort of animal one. I think it's Naturescapes or something like that. I don't know. I cut it up several years ago. So I basically just have a pocket or an envelope thing with a bunch of separations of these are people, these are animals, and I just kind of go through. And I thought it was really funny. This whale, I think it's a fin whale, kind of arching backwards, and then this Caesar figure crowning that's essentially the underside of his chin because he's arching backwards out of the water, but there's no water here because I didn't draw that. Since I did use gel medium, or matte medium rather, to place these down, that makes my India ink pens here, the Faber-Castell, I forget what they're called. But anyway, they're India ink and they're by Faber-Castell. It makes them blendable and smoother, so I'm not going to be getting, lines because it's not soaking into the paper. It can't. And I'm not going to show you the whole process because it's rather long. This is basically the idea of wash with color and then blend in another color. And it's a simple process and you just do it over the whole thing. But they will dry permanent, so it is India ink and it's not going to move once it dries. It's just a matter of for the couple seconds before it does dry, you can move the pigment. See here, I'm going in with a darker color and then I'm just kind of smudging it. That's how I'm going to get the shadows. And it's not intricate coloring. I did not want to sit here. One of the reasons that I cut up these coloring books in the first place was I did not want to sit here and color that intricate design of his robe or anything. It's very nice and I like looking at it, but I prefer it much more in a mixed media kind of way where I can play with the image, but I don't have to sit there for 100 hours and do all of that detail work. So here you can see I cut and I just finished all of those shadows, and it just gives him a bit more depth. Now I'm using a Marabou crayon, and from what I understand, they're very much like Distress crayons, except these are light fast. And that's one of the things that I'm wanting to move towards more, is the more permanence of my work, since I do have several pieces that I hang on the wall. Obviously this is an art journal, so it doesn't matter. But I have several pieces where I use my mixed media supplies for artwork, and those are faded now because pretty much nothing made by Ranger is permanent. And I did add a quote. My camera kind of stopped. But anyway, I hope you like this project. And yeah, I'm kind of running out of time, so thank you very much for watching, and please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and I'll do more. All right, goodbye.